mentally weak. It burns me in my eyes. The look you never see the track is all I ever feel is left dead and I wait. Surrounded by a scam, a billows of sand. Acceptance of the worst is all I ever see. And that's why I hate everything I love. They infiltrate. And that's why I hate all the shit I see going on. I just can't relate. I'm living in a world where all the people all around me playing on the borders of world I'll never be. You'll never understand the matters at hand. Can't see my body with the mentally weak. And that's why I hate everything I love. They infiltrate. That's why I hate. Every fucking thing I love is close to fantasy. Conditioned by indoctrination, conditioned by society. You're a victim of the digital age, a 21st century casualty. Open your eyes, you're losing control. Open your eyes, put down the phone. Conditioned by misinformation. It's just the media telling us lies. Decipher fiction from the truth. Society's slow and tragic demise. Open your eyes, you're losing control. Open your eyes, put down the phone. Everyone's got their fucking opinion.
Let's get it on. This is the New York Hardcore Chronicles Live. What's going on? Worldwide. How's everybody doing? Good to see you. Good to be seen. Glad we are all here together on this Sunday. I hope things are going well in your world. And if they're not, I hope that being a part of the show today makes you feel a little bit better in this wretched, evil, cruel world that we live in. So maybe I can alleviate some of that pain by talking about hardcore, music, hardcore, art, community, culture. That's what I have to offer. I know it's not much, but that's what I bring to the party, you know? Good to see everybody. A lot of the usual suspects. Good to see the gang. RS, what's happening, bro? Brooklyn represent. What's up, Dom? Larry Kelly's coming on the show a little bit later. Oh, by the way, if anybody makes it to the, we're gonna go a little long today. My brother Evan B. Stone is gonna come on after we do the whole show with our guest. He's doing an event in California, in LA, at the Adventurers Club, talking about his top 10 dangerous moments, you know, being a cameraman and doing all those chasing Bigfoot and Naked and Afraid and all that shit, you know? So, yeah, we'll do wrong answers only. Don't worry. We'll get to that. Speaking of wrong answers only.
Speaking of Bigfoot.
What am I? Am I Bigfoot? What's the plural of Bigfoot?
Big feet? Bigfoots? Bigfoots.
I saw some Bigfoots out there, you know? I saw some big feet out there, you know? So you got those bums in your band to actually play a show?
Yeah, we got 2 shows coming up. Yeah, look at that. This is going to be fun.
What's this?
The Fugtoberfest. And this is our friends in Fugit are putting on with Ancient Domains, who we know and love, and Serial Poets, a band called Death Cactus, and Scarlet King. This is going to be fun. My first time up in Nyack, by the way.
Yeah.
I hear good things. In fact, the non-residents told me when they first got here from Chile, the first place they played was Nyack.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Olives. I know it's right on the main. Yeah, shout out to Melissa. Absolutely.
Yes.
Death Cactus. That's like goat penis. Is goat penis still around?
I think so. There's a tour if I ever heard one.
Death Cactus and goat penis.
Cactus with a K.
That's it. Yo, I went to the craziest show the other night, bro.
Oh, I know where you're going here.
I went to the fucking wildest hardcore show. I mean, how can I even explain this? Right? I'll do the best I can, right? I went to a show the other night in Long Beach, Long Island, right? It was, I don't have the flyer. It was the Radolescents, which is the two guys from the Adolescents. I guess they have a version of the Adolescents. They're called the Radolescents, and they play the entire Blue album with, Amoeba and I Hate Children and all that, right? And it was on the roof of a hotel in Long Beach. It was free, right? And I get there, and it was like this, it was wild. It was in this really nice hotel on the roof lounge. There was catered food, free food, right? There was catered food. All right. Here, I took a picture. Really high-end catered food, right? Come on. High-end catered food, right?
Damn.
Dude, there was like 4 stations like this with different fucking foods, right?
It's like cocktail hour at a wedding party.
Dude, it was like the cocktail hour at a wedding party. There was catered food, right? There was an open bar, right? Here, I got an open bar picture, right? I got an open bar. It was an open bar, right?
Wow.
There's a coffee station there. Huge open bar, right? Whatever you want. They had like a ton of people working this thing, right? And this is a shot I took. Who's on stage here? Oh, this is the Slashers opened it up. There was maybe 100 people at this thing. This is when the Slashers played, right? This is the fucking Slashers playing, right? It was bizarre, man. It was the most bizarre. Anybody else? That hotel, I believe, is the building in the background of the Beastie Boys She's On It video. It used to be. You know what? I think you're right, bro. Because she's
in that house.
Dun, dun, dun. She acts like a nag. I don't know how she acts like a nag. I don't know how he started. Even when I'm chilling, she acts retarded. And because she's on it. I love how the Beastie Boys disowned their careers. Like, oh no, we never did. No, we're like, I love how they disown all that stuff, which was the best shit they ever did, So, and then, so the Radolescents play, and which Rick Agnew plays in the Radolescents. You guys remember Rick Agnew? You remember Rick Agnew? Anybody in the chat room? Anybody remember Rick Agnew and this show? See if anybody remembers Rick Agnew's history with this show, There
might be a reason why they don't remember.
Yeah, right. Rick Agnew is awesome. Okay. That's right. He stood right. He's the only person to stand up this show. Just didn't show up when it was showtime. That's right. He blew us off. He was a no-show. And yeah, it ended up being one of the best episodes ever. But here's your Rick Agnew reference This was him the other night playing with the Radolescents.
Wow.
All right. So it was a bizarre night, man.
He's sitting? Is he sitting down or crouching?
Sitting. Yeah, he sits.
Oh.
He sat. It was just a bizarre.
What is he, Robert Fripp?
I'm surprised he made it to the stage, honestly. The whole thing was bizarre. But you know what it was? It was that there was a, I believe, and don't quote me, but from what I understand, it was like this surfer, this Long Beach surfer guy,
Right?
That's like a pro surfer that threw this party, and he laid out 50 grand for this thing, paying the bands, the food, the open bar, renting the place. Dude dropped 50 grand for him and some of his surfer buddies. They flew the Radolescents over, you know.
Wow.
Yep. Yeah, it was just fucking bizarre. It was just bizarre. And I can't say the Radolescents were great either.
Yeah.
Can't say that. That said, now that I've made a couple of enemies, why not? It's a slow day. So, all right. What else?
I'm going to see the Marley Brothers in about 3 hours over at Forest Hills.
Oh, who's that? Is that Stefan, Ziggy?
5 of them. Damien, Stefan, Ziggy. There's 2 others. I think he had more sons, but they're all the musician sons.
Well, I was friends. He was in my Urban Street Bike Warriors. I was friends with Robbie Marley for a couple years. Let me see if I have a shot with him. He was in, here we go, Bob Marley Jr. This is back in the day when I did the Urban Street Bike Warrior films, which is something we don't talk about too much on here, but it happened. This is me, my brother, and Bob Marley Jr.
Oh, wow.
He was a stunt bike rider. He was a motorcycle rider, and we were tight. We were tight back then. But he's not a musician. He's one of the Marley sons that's not a musician. You know?
I wonder if he'll be at the show tonight, just hanging. You know?
Yeah.
I mean,
yep. No, I don't think so.
He's got.
I don't think so.
No,
he lives in Miami, I think.
Ah.
I think Bob Marley had 30 kids with 25 different women. You know?
Yeah,
you like that, right? Wait, so someone just commented on the shirt I was wearing. Listen, he's got to make that's the kind of shirt, that you could wear. Hold on. Listen, not that I could pull off this look again, but listen, when you're thin and young, I don't think anybody really rocks this anymore. I used to have a whole wardrobe of these shirts.
Showing off the butterfly.
That's what it is. That's the old school fishnet tank top. Nobody rocks those anymore. The Jamaican mesh shirt. Yeah, everybody's coming down. Yeah, that's right. Yep.
Oh, funny.
Is that right? I look like the bad guy in Urban Cowboy with that shirt. I used to have this is all I wore, Yep. What is the significance of the butterfly? Let's not go there. Save that for a rainy day, Tim.
That's a Patreon episode right there.
That's a whole nother. Well, you know what? I'll give you a clue. Check out the movie Papillon with Steve McQueen. That has a lot to do with it. He had the same thing on his chest. That said, all right, bro. We'll have a good time there. Don't smoke too much. Don't smoke too much reefer. You know
me.
All right. I'll see you later. There you have it. This is the New York Hardcore Chronicles live. We are sponsored by New York Hardcore Comic 66666666666. The Texas Silver Rush, DTFM Vinyl Distro, Generation Records, Mad Vintage, 126 Hardcore Clothing. They're a streetwear brand for restless individuals who don't compromise. They're about being positive, spontaneous, and true to yourself. For years, they experimented with several printing methods and materials and collaborated with a large number of designers and illustrators, always giving room for fresh perspectives while retaining the hardcore attitude. Get in touch with them. Ramp up your game at www.126clothing.com. That said, let's clear the deck. Let's bring our guest on. I should wear that shirt when we play Connecticut. Dude, I don't have that shirt anymore. I don't even think they. I don't even think. Do they even make those anymore? All right, here we go. Clear the way. Get your shoes and socks on, kids. It is right around the corner. Today's guest is an American multi-instrumentalist, primarily vocalist, songwriter, hailing from New York City. As a musician, he is known for his work with the bands Look at Me Now, Kids Carry Germs, Impact, Nerves End, Downfall, Beg to Differ, Vice, and of course, the incredible hardcore powerhouse known as Combust. Please welcome, coming at us from Staten Island, Gatton Island, the slums of Shaolin, New York, one of the hardest working guys in the New York hardcore scene, Mr. Andrew Vacante. Hey,
Wow.
man.
Yo, like I said, that's a crazy intro, man. I appreciate it.
Well, you deserve it, man. You deserve it.
Thank you.
You know, it's been a couple years since we kind of worked together, and you know, I see peripherally, you know, I mean that, man. You're a hardworking dude, man, and you put your band on the map, you know, with a real intense work ethic, man.
Thank you. I appreciate that, man. I mean, I don't ever look at it as like a work ethic thing. I just like playing, you know?
Yeah. And I think, you know, we're gonna get to that, but I feel that like you, like me, like Michael Alago, or like a lot of other people, you just love music. You know, you're first and foremost a music lover, and you love hardcore, and you love New York hardcore, and like, you know, you want to be a part. You wanted to be a part of it back then by any means necessary, and you did the time. You put in the work, man. You know.
Yeah, 100%. Thank you.
Yeah. So that said, that kind of sets the table. How did you come up? Did you grow up in a musical household? How did music come into your life?
Quite the opposite, I feel. Like my house, like my mom liked like music from her generation a lot, like Michael Jackson and shit like that. You know what I mean? Like she was big on Michael Jackson. That was like the only music I remember as like a little kid.
Right.
Then I kind of found just like, I guess, whatever through, I guess, my first introduction into like music that I like on my own would be like Tony Hawk Pro Skater soundtracks.
Sure.
So
from playing the video game?
Yeah, from playing the video game. And I was like, I remember listening to punk and hardcore bands on there, but like I didn't know that was punk and hardcore, you know what I mean?
Sure.
But yeah, and then I just like I just went about that a while. Then I found rap music.
Let me just say that's really interesting, and that music kind of came on your radar screen from being a young person and playing video games. That's how that's really interesting, and I think that's a testament to sort of, you know, how the traditional way of like, you know, buying music or hearing on the radio. There's a lot of people that music came into their world through playing video games or guitar, or you know how Mike, Guitar Hero.
I mean, when Guitar Hero came out, I was like into metal at the time, so like it was like that's why I liked it.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean, so and then I found rap, and I found like, but not real rap yet. I liked Eminem and like Limp Bizkit, and then but those were also aggressive, you know.
Yeah.
So, and then I slowly got into metal, and then through a friend. It was like 6th grade.
And you grew up in Staten Island?
Yeah, born and raised.
What wasn't, talk about rap, wasn't like the Woo a big presence kind of growing up out there?
Not when you're like a white kid in the suburbs of a white kid.
Where in Staten Island did you grow up?
So I'm like, so there's South Shore and then North Shore, which is where like
I know Staten Island.
I'm like the middle.
Ah,
I'm right in
okay.
the middle.
So you're not like Tottenville. You're not like
No, I'm not like rich Tottenville person.
not like Tottenville, commonly known as Forgottenville or Twattenville, right?
Yes, yeah. I'm not like the super duper Staten Island like jerk
Yeah.
off.
Yeah.
South Shore,
Right.
but, you know.
You're kind of mid-level.
Yeah, exactly. I'm right
Yeah.
there, you know.
So go on metal.
Yeah. So a friend of mine in like the 6th grade introduced me to metal, and then but like shortly after, right, I have a cousin, Chris, and I remember like I lived with my uncle in like an attached house, like a 2-family house.
Uh-huh.
And I was super close to my uncle, and I was telling him like, oh, like I just got into metal music, like I want to start a band, blah blah blah. And he's like, oh, you should talk to my son Chris about that because he loves that kind of music. So then I remember seeing him shortly after that, and yeah, I told him, and he's like, all right, next time I see you, I'm gonna give you a bunch of stuff. And he gave me burned copies of like every single Bible record that you can imagine, like Sick of It All, Agnostic Front, Cro-Mags, everything on these burned CDs. I still have them.
Right.
But yeah, it's my cousin Chris Chalemi. He does Robots Will Kill and stuff like that. And
Chris is your cousin?
Yeah.
Maybe I knew that, but I didn't know that.
Yeah. So this was like when I was like 12,
Wow.
11. Yeah, and then
Chris is another like MQ. He's like a ghost. He's like,
oh yeah. It's funny when like, oh, I don't know, like what does he look like? It's so funny. But
yeah. Wow. And Chris is a great, that's right, Lori Dawn. Yeah, Chris is a great artist, an amazing person. He is. And another guy that's worked hard, man. You know, he worked hard to you know.
That's a hard worker right there. Like
yeah.
he definitely inspires me to work as hard because that dude never stops.
Yeah, that's right, Debo. Everywhere he funny enough, I was coming home last night from this event, and I was coming over the Brooklyn Bridge, and right fresh on the Brooklyn Bridge is this MQ tag, right? And I'm like, that's like it looked like he did it last night, and I'm like, for that guy at this point,
he probably did
to be getting up like the level of commitment, you know, for guys like Chris and MQ and those guys, you know.
Yeah, man.
Wow.
For sure.
So Chris gives you all these burned CDs, which are kind of like what, like the Encyclopedia Britannica of hardcore.
Yo, literally, it's funny. I have them like literally all right here still.
Oh shit!
Hold on, let me.
That's great.
Oh, like, hold on, I gotta move some. Never mind. It's fucked up.
But, okay. At the break, dig them out.
I'll dig them out.
We got to see that's. And
yeah, so you know, like when you make a burnt CD, you write on it. I still have them all, but So I'm listening to them all one by one, and then I'm like, I remember at first I didn't like Age of Quarrel at first. I was like, I don't know, but Sick of It All really stuck with me. Agnostic Front really stuck with me, and I mean, obviously, just when you're a kid and like you feel that kind of like I liked the other stuff that I was listening to because of the aggression, but then you find this other thing that you haven't tapped into yet. And like hardcore is kind of like, to me, is like the purest form of aggressive music. You know what I mean? It's like the highest level. So when you're a kid and you have all those feelings, it's like you're going to relate to it in such a big way. So I instantly connected with it. And then he started taking me to shows, and then it was a wrap from there.
Do you remember like what was the first live show you went to where you were like exposed to sort of the community? And do you remember like first hardcore show, like that whole thing?
Yeah, I remember my first hardcore show. He took me. It was at the Knitting Factory. And it was a Veil from Richmond. Yeah, that was my first show. But at this point, I've only seen like The Who, Iron Maiden, Guns N' Roses, right? And that was all I've ever seen live. And then he took me to this show, and like the Avail set was fucking insane. Just like people jumping off walls, jumping on top of each other, like just, you know. And right there, I was like, "Oh, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life."
Yeah.
So,
you know, I think that it's almost an anomaly now, and it's an exception because you know, you are like really deeply rooted in the history of the whole thing. You know who's who, what's what. You know who came before. You know the old heads. You sort of did your homework, and you kind of see what happened previously that sort of brought us all here.
Yeah.
And I think 99.9% of kids that have gotten into hardcore in the past couple years haven't taken and I'm not saying they should, and I'm not going, get off my lawn. I'm making an observation, that like a lot of kids get into hardcore, they have no idea, nor do they care, like about any bands that happened. It's a really interesting thing that I've seen in my lifetime. What do you make of that?
I mean, I don't think it's the vibe of get off my lawn old guy shit. I think it's just like you're right, because a lot of new kids that come in, they don't care enough to like do the digging and do the work, because I think that everything is like in this moment where I feel like hardcore was never I know it was big a bunch of times. I understand that. But in the way that everything is so accessible now, you just go on your phone and you find 10 million bands to stream. You know what I mean? Like you could just, and there's so much going on like in the now.
Yeah.
There's so many bands now. Like there's a new demo every day,
Sure.
And you can find it wherever it is on the map. So I think there's just like such an influx of everything happening now that like the kids who don't understand yet, I think if they hang around long enough, they understand like why it's important to do the homework, But I think when they first get into it, it's just like there's so much to be excited about that they don't bother to look to the past, But I think, I mean, from what I've seen, as the more that like kids stick around, then they'll get put on to like, yo, here's all this that was important,
Yeah, that makes sense, and also, I understand that, young people come in and young people want to hear young people music made by their peers. They don't necessarily want to hear music, they don't necessarily want to hear dad hardcore. And I get that. I understand that. I'm a historian by nature, so I don't take offense to any, I see the lay of the land. I get it. It's an interesting world. It's an interesting sort of world we live in now, from my perspective, in so much that when I came in, first wave of American hardcore, right? Early 80s, there was a real us against them sort of like you saw somebody wearing a Black Flag button, like you connected with that person. He was, he was on the team. There was no, nowadays, like someone will say to me, yo, how's the New York hardcore scene? And I go, well, which one? I count 5 different New York hardcore scenes.
There's there's a million subsects of New York hardcore right now, 100%.
Yeah, and there's go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, well, another thing I feel is that the way kids get introduced to it now is like through social media and the internet, and they don't have that. Like, I feel like the way that a lot of people, especially from my generation, got into it is like they had people you had people putting you on the shit. Where it's now, it's like it's just like they kind of just see a video, like a viral video, or they see like, you know what I mean? And it's just like, oh, I like hardcore now. Right. But like they don't get that there's a whole mindset and like culture and values to it. So that's another thing. Like, I feel like there is a lack of like the old heads showing you the way, rather than now they just like pop up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think it goes both ways too, to be honest with you, because there's like, to me, it's even cringier when like I'm hearing somebody on stage go, back in the day and this and that, and I was there and you weren't, and the scene today's bull. To me, that's like, oh God, that's like, come on, Dad, knock it off. Like, that's even cringier to me. You know?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's like a way to discuss the topic, because I think it's a very real topic in hardcore that should be discussed without coming off as like the the jaded, annoying asshole. Like no one
Yeah.
wants to do that, you know. But you can say it in a way where it's like, yo, we all care about this community, and here's a way that we can keep it going forward the way it's supposed to be, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. And this is you out of early Staten Island. What is this?
Yeah.
What is this?
Yes. A terrible picture, but
No, but it's kind of cool. It's a moment in history, right?
Yeah. So when I like first started getting into hardcore music, like Staten Island kind of had our own little like private scene,
Right.
you know, and it was like there weren't a lot of hardcore bands necessarily. There were a lot of like, it was a lot of like the metalcore stuff going on, but there were like more punk leaning bands and a lot of happening within like my age group of kids. So yeah, this is just a flick of probably looks like the Cup. Yeah, me at a show at the Cup with the terrible flipped up brim.
Yeah,
red shit on it.
Joe Frank, shout out Indecision. Yeah,
I missed that shirt. I am no longer a size medium.
Yeah. This going to early shows. So you go to that first show with Chris. You kind of get a taste for it. Do you like you start seeking out shows? Was it like right away, like a local Staten Island, like banging it out, like local Staten Island?
Yeah. So I was like kind of already starting like a band when I got into hardcore music, and we were playing like metal. It was a 3-piece. I remember I played bass and I fronted it.
Right.
But like, so
which
it was
which band was that?
This was a band called Preaching to the Converted. That was my first.
A good. I like that name, bro.
Yeah, that was like my very first thing that I did musically, and it was just, you know, I was like 12, you know.
Right.
And it wasn't long after that where I got into hardcore. So it was like, then we all of a sudden became like a metal band doing punk covers, and I was like, oh, we got to be a straight edge band, and like, oh, we got to cover Agnostic Front. But so we'd be playing metal songs, but then we would have like a Dead Kennedys cover in the middle of it. Like it was weird, you know.
I love it. Paulie says, like, it's a great band name because from the stage you can say, "We are preaching to the converted."
Yeah,
that's great.
Yeah, I mean, aside from the shows that like my cousin would take me to, because I was too young to like, my mom was kind of strict. I was too young to really like go outside of Staten Island by myself yet. So there were a lot of local shows on Staten Island, but yeah, it was like a lot of more punk stuff and like metalcore stuff. And then once, you know, I found like my group of friends that, because my cousin's older than me, you know, so I needed kind of like a group of friends that were into hardcore, and then I found that, and then I did my first legitimate hardcore band, and then, you know, it kind of all melds together in that timeline for me. But yeah,
did you mostly like stay, even like Napoleon said, you know, interesting, a different subset for each borough, you know, basically kind of each borough kind of has its own sort of local bands. Was it a Staten Island thing? Did you make it? I mean, this is before Brooklyn kind of was blowing up, right?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, it was like, so I think we were so that era was kind of like when there were no current like local New York hardcore bands. Remember that period where there was like no newer bands? It was just all like the big bands everybody loved.
Sure.
There were no younger like New York bands. So Staten Island like had just our own little thing going on. Yeah. And then no one would leave Staten Island though. So it was like me and a couple of my friends that would go to shows outside of Staten Island, and that's why I was at all the legitimate hardcore shows, and then Staten Island was kind of in its own little weird bubble. But like even the shows that would happen in Brooklyn and Queens and the city and all that, if you remember, there's no newer bands opening those shows. Like it was just the package or whatever, you know what I mean?
And then when there was one, like if Cuz put one on the bowl or something, they'd be around, and the next year they'd be gone. Like no,
or it would always be like a Long Island band.
Yeah.
Like Long Island was holding it down for like the current thing of New York, you know.
And Jersey too. There was always like some action in Jersey.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who do you who who were the first bands to sort of come out of that sort of like broke out a little bit, in your opinion, that sort of started putting like fresh new young hardcore back on the map?
There was this heavier band, Line of Scrimmage.
Yeah, I remember them.
They played a lot of dope shows. I remember seeing them a lot.
Yep.
There was Mind Piece, which was King 9.
Yeah. And is this before Regulate and it's before Regulate?
Yeah, before.
Yeah. Okay.
But like Vice started in 2009.
Right.
So, but we didn't, like we had a weird sound, so I think it was kind of hard for like New York people to really vibe with it like that. But we played a lot, and especially when I graduated high school, we kind of like hit the ground running with touring constantly.
And you were you played drums in Impact too, right?
Yeah, and but Impact started in like 2015. But I started like 2009, so
yeah.
So it was kind of like after the bands that I played bass for kind of disbanded.
Which band is it? Which one is this?
That is probably Kids Carry Germs.
I love that name, Kids Carry Germs. Yeah.
And we had like kind of like a GB vibe kind of.
Yeah. Let me see if I got any other Kids Carry. Yeah, here's another one. This is interesting. Was Kids Carry Germs a straight edge band?
No, so that's me singing for Vice, like right when we started.
Okay.
I think like half of Vice was straight edge, but I always wore X's on my shit when I was younger. So,
are you a straight edge guy?
Yeah, still.
Let me see what else I got. And is this? But this is Kids Carry. But this is that you're wearing the same. Did you play bass and then sing some of the set?
Yeah, so I think that was like one of the first Vice shows. It had to be, because I think that might have been the same show, and it might have been like towards the end of Kids Carry Germs being a band, and then that might have been like the first Vice show.
Right.
Yeah.
Let me see. You sent me a couple great pictures. I just wanna. And this, you look young here, brah. This is.
Oh no. Which one's
wow.
this? Oh my God! Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, look who stopped by, Al Baril from SSD Control. Hope you're well, buddy.
Oh yeah. Hope
things are. I mean, talk about straight edge. Talk about straight edge bands. They were
one of the best.
They were one of the best. Which band is this? Or how can you even answer that, right?
I mean, it had to have been Vice.
Right.
Like that was the band that I sang for. I mean, yeah, there's no way that it's not.
Yeah.
Especially I'm rocking the Bane shirt.
Yeah. While we're kind of doing a pit stop on the straight edge thing, what were like, top 3 straight edge anthems?
That's hard.
Yeah, I know it is. I don't mean to throw you a curveball, but
Straight and Alert, Uniform Choice. Personally for me, Not For Me by 4 Punch.
Jersey band, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Damn, third one's hard. There's so many.
Yeah.
There's too many.
Yep. Who
got to be a Youth of Today track, probably.
Got to throw one of those in there.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Thinking Straight, maybe?
Yeah. Can't Close My Eyes.
Yeah. Quest for Herb, Murphy's Law.
But yeah. Yes, yeah. So yeah. It is is Combust a straight edge band?
No. Just half of us are. Like 3 out of 5 are.
Do you have coming in and kind of this, I'm assuming you have quite a bit of patience and flexibility being you have guys in your band that are not straight edge guys.
Yeah, but I mean, like they don't. There's definitely some memories that I have of those guys, like definitely going a little bit off the rails.
Yeah.
But I mean, they're chill. They just smoke weed.
Yeah.
They just constantly smoke weed, so they're just chill.
It's a weird world right now where everybody smokes, like all of a sudden like weed is like legal and everybody's smoking it, and it's like
Yeah. I mean,
I never thought I'd see the day, but whatever.
I'm sure. Yeah, I mean, I think it's. I would say this. I'd rather be in a band with people who smoke weed constantly than fucking alcoholics. You know what I'm saying?
Bad shit happens with alcohol, man.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, California's sober. Yeah, I'm California sober. Yeah, that's true. So let's sort of ease it into Combust.
Okay.
How did Combust come about? Was there a mission statement, or how did it come to be?
So like I said, Vice kind of like toured forever. And then like that was kind of all I was doing. I just had a shirt printing business with the bass player of Vice, and that's all we did. We just toured with Vice and then screen printed shirts. And then it was just like years of a lot of struggle and stress, and I think the bass player was just over it at that point, and then he quit, and me and him were the only two original members, and then once he was out, it kind of just like no one could tour as much anymore. We couldn't get the fill-ins. It was just a headache, and it was just time to put it to rest.
And you did do a last show, didn't you?
Yeah, on Staten Island.
I remember. I think I came to that.
Did you?
I think I was at that. Was it like a VFW or a church place?
It was like a night to Columbus.
Yeah, I was there. I came to that.
Okay. Oh yeah.
Who else was on that bill? Was it? I was there.
That was a sick lineup. It was like Mind
Yeah.
Force.
Yeah. I went.
yeah.
I came to that show.
Yeah. It was a good one.
Yeah. That's when I came to that show, and I was like, "Damn, Staten Island!" It was like out in the middle of nowhere in some fucking VFW hall or some shit, and there was like 300. There was like 300 kids.
Yo, and people flew out. It was nuts. Like,
yeah.
And that was the kind of the last time Staten Island had a scene.
Is that right?
No one really like. There's no like hardcore people on Staten Island. It's like maybe 10.
Where did they all come from for that?
I mean, a lot of it was Long Island and Brooklyn, and just had to make the lineup good enough for people to come out.
Yeah.
But so
I think Staten Island's always kind of suffered from that a little bit. Even when I was getting into the game, with the bands of Sheer Terror or this one or that one, and like Staten Island was sort of. I know bands came out of Staten Island, and I know that there were great shows, but it was always hard to kind of get their footing.
100%. It was Staten Island syndrome. I mean, we are the forgotten borough. So
yeah.
Yeah.
I want to ask you, any unsung heroes from that era, like when you were coming up? I'm talking before, not the last couple of years, but anybody from those days that like were really fucking great and like really put in their work, but just never went over the top. Any unsung heroes from that era?
I mean, from the 90s, CR was a dope band.
Mm.
And they played dope shows, and they would play with dope bands all the time. They played. I mean, I just feel like again, it was just a Staten Island thing where it just never caught on the way. But their videos of playing in Staten Island, it would look like fucking insane, Yeah. But dope band. Nah, no one really else pops out to me like that.
Yeah.
But
I remember back when of course in the L'Amour days, right? Mm-hmm. When I was working with Biohazard and all that, and like when L'Amour was sort of really, I don't want to say at its peak, but it was definitely popping with bands like Biohazard, Marauder, Sheer Terror, you know, blah, 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 blah. You know, Staten Island will come in and represent in force. They, you know, like to Lemore's, there'd be like, you know, 50 Staten Island kids at these, you know, there was like, so, you know.
Yeah, no, I mean, I've been told all the Staten Island classic stories.
All the folklore, right?
Yeah. I mean,
yeah,
you know,
yeah. And no, Rick, VOD, no, VOD is a Long Island
Long
band.
Island.
Yeah, that's not Staten Island.
Yeah.
Different island, bro.
Different island.
Yep. Yeah, and Enrage with Jeff. Yep, they're sort of old school Staten Island. Yep.
Yeah, 100%.
Absolutely. So go on. How did Combust come together?
Oh, okay. Yeah. So, you know, a lot of the bands that I was in, Vice, Impact, they were all kind of just breaking up. And I mean, me and Dave, the drummer of Combust, he's played in like almost every band that I've been in, probably. We've known each other since I was in junior high. And we just always wanted to start a band with the exact style that Combust plays. And I think we were just like, yeah, we've been putting it off for too long. And then I had the name Combust kind of like just chilling in the back of my head for mad long. And I had kind of an idea of a song written in my head for a while. And that's the song Combust. And I was finally like, yeah, like let's get some new people that we never played with and let's start this band. So yeah.
In doing my homework and reading a couple other interviews, you really, in a way, you kind of say like you were really inspired by like late 80s, early 90s hardcore.
Yeah.
Who were the bands that really that you really that really influenced you from that late 80s, early 90s era?
I mean, off the bat, Killing Time. Obviously, it's like the biggest influence of the band. You know, Outburst, Sick of It All, Breakdown. You know,
yeah.
I mean, there's definitely some Cro-Mag stuff in there too. But yeah, those would be the main ones. Iceman, Dynamo.
Wow.
Yeah.
Madball?
Definitely Madball.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's like saying Madball and Cro-Mag's influence.
Yeah.
Like we know, you know.
you know, there was fairly recently. I'd go out and see really young bands play and be like, every fucking band I would see sounded like Marauder Master Killer.
Wow.
Like every band I saw was like, sounds like Marauder Master Killer to me, you know? Which is, I guess, you know, Marauder was a huge influence.
I mean, yeah, they kind of changed the whole sound for a minute.
Yeah.
The metal thing was big. But yeah, no, I think
honestly, produced by one of the guys from the Cro-Mags. So there you go.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. But yeah, I mean, honestly, if I had to narrow it down to just two bands, it'd probably be Killing Time and Dynamo. When I found Dynamo in like 2015, because that's like a deep cut.
Well, Dynamo's the band that Carl sang for.
Yeah.
And did they have any?
No one really told me about that band. I just kind of found it.
Do they have? Are there like official Dynamo releases? Or is there just a demo?
No, I mean, they have a couple 7-inches. I have a record over there somewhere. But yeah, no, I mean, you can only find it on YouTube. So that's
right.
You know, and then I was so obsessed with that sound. I was like, we need to be this vibe and Killing Time.
Yeah.
And that's just kind of what I wanted.
Well, I think going into something like this and having a vision is good. Yeah. You know, as opposed to let's start a band, let's just, you know, I don't know, let's just see what happens.
Yeah, because then that's when it gets off the rails. You gotta be locked in.
Yeah.
100%.
You gotta like, you know, I mean, even doing what we do in Incendiary Device, we sort of figured it out early on. It's like, you know what? If anything, we pay homage to the first wave of American hardcore, the minor threats, you know, the 4-piece early American hardcore stuff, bass, drums, vocals, you know, guitar, Minor Threat, early, you know, Negative Approach, early Black, like that's basically that's what we are, you know.
So I mean, you know. Yeah, I agree. It's better to have a vision for sure.
Yeah, and so where is my the demo, which you guys dropped. This demo. Can you give us any perspective on this? Recording it, were you happy with it? Has it aged well?
So we recorded it at our bass player's in our bass player's room in his house. He was he was getting into like, you know, recording equipment and stuff, and he's like, I'll just record it. So yeah.
Drums and everything?
Yeah.
You set up the drums in his room.
Yep.
It's amazing.
Yeah,
amazing.
so we banged it out pretty quick. Who did the cover art? Our guitar player's friend, who he went to college with, this girl. I don't know her name. It's probably credited somewhere in the record. I don't know her name. Funny, for the logo, I sent her the Dynamo logo, and I said, do something like this.
There you go.
And then I said, I gave like the idea of what I want the drawing to be, and then I kind of just sent references or whatever. And then I said, put a token entry shirt on.
Hey. No, it's like I said before, and I want to emphasize this to anybody out there that may not know Andrew or Combust. This is a band, a very unique band in the landscape that actually pays homage to a lot of the older bands and works it into sort of, you know, what you do. So it's I think a lot of the people that watch the show, you know, can get into that. So the demo comes out in 2018, and you know, one thing about Combust I always saw is like, you guys weren't scared to get in the van and put in work.
No, because I mean, you know, it's so when the band, like right when the band started, I just started my very first legitimate 9-to-5 job. I got my CDL because Vice broke up. I was done touring constantly. I got my CDL. I got a job driving dump trucks with this construction company or whatever.
Was getting your CDL easy?
No,
I had a hard, dude. I tried to get my CDL twice. I didn't get it.
Well, now the test is even harder because they make you identify every part of the engine and shit. When I took it, I didn't even have to do that, and it was still hard. And I failed the driving test, but my instructor, it was a very Staten Island thing to get your CDL for a job that you didn't need to drive for, just to have it.
Right.
So when I failed it, at the end of it, I was like, oh, I know I did terrible. And she looks at me and she goes, you know, you failed, right? And I was like, yeah. And she's like, but you need this for a job. And I was like, yeah. And she's like, okay, here you go. So she passed me.
That's awesome. But
I ended up getting a job where, in fact, I do need the drive.
Right.
So I started that, and I was like, yeah, like this is gonna be more chill. Like I'll have more fun with it. We play whenever. It's just a demo. It's just a fun band.
Sure.
And yeah, I mean, the demo picked up quicker than I thought, and like people were asking us to play a lot, and then someone wanted to press the demo on vinyl, and I was like, that's cool. And then it just started picking up more, but like I balanced having a legitimate job and playing.
Yeah.
And then we really started hitting the ground touring when I got fired. So it kind of lined up though, because we just put out the LP, and then I got fired. And then it was like everyone wants us to play everywhere, so I was like, "Fuck it, let's go." You know.
That makes sense. And then you did the Void EP, right? Yeah. Like a year later. Mm-hmm. Do you feel like and you guys always have great cover art, man. I got to give it up. There's always like great cover art.
I appreciate that. Yeah.
Do you feel like there was some maturity there? Was there a progression from the demo to this and moving forward to another life? Like, how do you feel about like looking back on the Void EP?
You know, we actually just started playing a song off this that we haven't played it since we like put it out, because I was like listening back to it, I'm like, damn, that's such a good fucking song, and like it deserves to be heard more, because I think it just fell under the radar. I love this record. I think there was like more, we were just incorporating more shit, like we were putting more of the Dynamo vibe in there. We were taking from like a lot of early Slayer, a lot of Iron Maiden. Like more of it was like the more technical shit I think was being put in this record. I feel I like the album art a lot because it's kind of like the transition of what the demo looked like into like this more introspective kind of thing.
And who did this art?
This is Chris Wilson from like Akulu and Countdown and all those bands.
Right. And this Edgewood put this out, right?
Yeah.
And Edgewood out of Virginia, right?
Mm-hmm.
How'd you? So just I'm assuming you kind of connected with them, just out there kind of grinding.
Yeah. So I remember like I said, the demo got like a lot of traction and people were fucking with it. And then I remember when we wanted to start thinking about doing an EP, I was like, we had these couple songs, and I was kind of just like sending them out to labels or whatever. And then my homie Harry from Regulate was like, yo, we're on Flat Spot and Edgewood. You should do it on one of those labels. And I was like, yeah, cool. Let me just like see. And then we just ended up landing on Edgewood because I felt like there's just more of a homie vibe, you know? I just felt like there's more of a community vibe with them. And
it's a good way. It's a good way to go.
Yeah. So we ended up playing with Downfall a lot from that before I joined. And then I mean, everyone who I met through putting the record out on Edgewood is like still, I consider like a very good friend of mine. So that's cool.
So it really was another I don't know if stepping stone is the proper term. That's a little like, but it was another stop along the way, really kind of making it to the full length Another Life, which we're going to talk about, which is I don't, kind of like the crowning achievement, man.
Oh yeah.
That thing crunches. That said, let me take a sponsor break, and it's going to be a couple minutes. I got to bring Laurie and Larry on, talk about their art show for a minute, and we'll come back and we'll talk about Another Life, and we'll talk about polo gear and favorite places to play, and we'll keep marching. I'll see you in a couple of minutes.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
All right. There you have it. Andrew Vacante from Combust. What can I tell you? We're chopping it up today. I hope you're enjoying it. Let's do some sponsor stuff. Got a couple new things here in the sponsor reel, and we'll be back in a couple minutes. I just want to remind you also that when at the end of the show, when Andrew is finished, my brother Evan B. Stone is going to come on, and we're going to talk about this event he has coming up in Hollywood. So let's do some sponsor stuff. Since 1992, Generation Records has been a mainstay of the New York metropolitan area music scene. Today, they offer a diverse selection of new and used rock, jazz, indie, hip-hop, punk, hardcore, metal, blues, soundtrack, and reggae LPs, as well as t-shirts, posters, and other merchandise. They buy used record collections and music memorabilia and will pay you top dollar for them. House calls made for large collections in the tri-state area. Call or email generationrecords@gmail.com and follow them on Facebook and Instagram.
Will that be cash or in debt?
Do you mean debit?
Yes. Sorry. Another eternally satisfied customer.
Peace, what it do? Welcome to NYHC Comics at 117 Main Street, Dobbs, Surrey, New York. I'm Debo the Pro with my homie
Lee Farley.
Welcome to the spot. Specializing in yesterday's and today's comic books, rare CGCs, toys, collectibles.
Got skateboards, old school tapes, Magic the Gathering, Warhammer.
Video games, original art pieces by your favorite New York City and worldwide artists. Let's go. Skate decks all day, baby.
We also have the young reader section here for like 10 and under. Pops. People love the Pops.
Star Wars! We are New York hardcore. We always rep the scene. Let's get it on.
Yo, what's happening? I'm out here at one of our all-ages Sunday matinees on the Bowery. I hope that you are enjoying today's show. I just want to let you know that the New York Hardcore Chronicles Live needs your support. Please step up. There is a Patreon page that has a lot of unique program. Shows are announced there first. Lots of good stuff. There's a PayPal address right there on the screen if you want to make a contribution. There's also a super chat function. You could do that, but the bottom line is this show exists because of your support. We're going to be doing it for a long, long time. Thank you for all your support through the years. Back to the show.
Conditioned by indoctrination, conditioned by society. You're a victim of the digital age, a 21st century casualty. Open your eyes, you're losing control. Open your eyes, put down the phone. Conditioned by misinformation, it's just the media telling us lies. Decipher fiction from the truth, society's slow and tragic demise. Open your eyes, you're losing control. Open your eyes, put down the phone. Everyone's got their phone.
And we're back. The New York Hardcore Chronicles Live. Here we go. Yeah, a new promo in there. Instead, so I don't have to do it every day talking about PayPal and join PayPal and Patreon and support the show. You know, what can I tell you? Support the show. Other than that, you know, I want to shout out some new patrons: Danny Niesk, Eben Denton Walker. I want to shout out Eddie Ahmed, who made a PayPal contribution, and Valerie Bracken. Yo, thank you for your support. Thanks for supporting the show. Thanks for being the engine that drives this thing down the tracks. That said, I want to bring our friend Larry Kelly on. What's up, man?
Hey, what's up, man? How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, good. I'm excited because we got a whole long list of stuff we got going on.
Okay, let me bring Lori on too. What's up?
Hi, how are you?
Everything okay over there?
Yes, everything is fine.
Are the cats rebelling?
Yes, they are. You can see my couch.
Yep. So let's talk about a couple things that are going on. Larry, this is happening on?
This is coming up on Saturday. Me and Lori are doing the art department thing of Bridge 9, and we're getting this local guy, Timmy Tanker, been in a bunch of bands, Oil Cans, stuff like that. He does wood carvings. He also did Lenny Lashley from the Street Dogs and Darkbuster. He did his latest record. So we got Timmy. We have Masato, who makes the you can see on this flyer. He makes the canvases for our shows at the Bowery Electric.
He makes the go on. I'm gonna find a
So
picture of you.
I'm bringing him up, and he's gonna have all this stuff. And then Alyssa Driscoll is a local who's connected to Montserrat Art School, which is a big art school, like right up the street. And we're trying to get those people from that school in here to see more stuff. And of course, because of the connection with Timmy and Lenny Lashley's going to do some of his acoustic stuff later on the day, 5:36, something like that. And Keith Bennett, my old friend who I've known since he was like this big, from Wrecking Crew and Death Ray Vision, Panzer Bastard, he's going to play also. So
Cool.
this is the second one we've done. The first one we did was with Lori and Mike Gallo and the Field Imagineer. So we're trying to keep these things moving. It's free, and everybody's welcome.
Yeah.
Starts at noon.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's gonna be a fun day out. Like, I feel like the first show was like the first waffle. It was like the test, And this one, we added, a little after party with some music. So it's gonna be a really fun day.
Good. And this is this Saturday, September 28th, up at Bridge 9. Let me work my way through a couple of the other events. Saturday, October 12th, there is a benefit of it's a winter clothing drive. RBNX, we're playing Incendiary Device. It's going to jump off tonight. Crazy Eddie, Redwoods, Leave It Behind, and Prize Fighter. And then the day after that, we're down. This show is not at the Bowery Electric. It is part of our New York, Back to the New York Hardcore Roots series. The next day is ID, Winterwolf, Midnight Foolishness, The Phoenix Within, and Gunk. Of course, it's free all ages Sunday matinee. Friday, October 25th, I am moderating the Danny Lilker book event at Generation Records. Sunday, November 18th. This is at Berlin as well. We are doing, please take note. Please take note. If you're in New York and you come to our shows, the next 2 shows are going to be at Berlin. This is the second show at Berlin. It's the Kings Never Die record release show, 45 adapters, Tree, featuring Dave Tree, Redwoods, and Neck Scars. Then ID is playing up in Connecticut with Brass Knuckle Brigade, which is former members of Billy Club Sandwich and Dead Blow Hammer. That's at Cherry Street Station on November 16th. And then Lori Dawn, tell us about this.
So that's the beginning of my my art event over at the Calling Bell, which is a beautiful tattoo and gallery space in Huntington. I'm going to have a little opening on Sunday, November 17th from 3 to 7 p.m. So hope to see a lot of you out there. I know you have to schlep out to Long Island for it, but you know, it's not so bad. And it's going to be on till January 6th.
Okay, right on. After that, of course, Saturday, November 25th, and I heard this sold out. This is the Lou Kohler, the Lou Kohler benefit at Irving Plaza with VOD. Speaking of From Long Island and Life of Agony, this is sold out Saturday, November 23rd, and then I'm going to be up at Bridge 9. All you mass holes, I'll be up your way for the Vinny Stigma and Howie Abrams book event. And apparently, let's put Larry Kelly on the spot. Anything else going on that day?
There might be. It's so close. You never know. But Zippo.
All right.
And if you know, hey, if something happens,
yeah.
I'm keeping my mouth shut. I'm telling a few people that have to come, but it's one of those
On to
things.
the next flyer.
What's that?
On to the next flyer.
Okay, boom. Lori Dawn. It's the Women of the Pit presents our annual Holiday Slamboree, which is tied in with the coat drive. Tell us about it.
Yes, so we're going to do our second annual coat drive. So we'll be collecting new and very gently used, clean winter coats in adult sizes and children. We're going to give those, donate those again to Oasis in Paterson, New Jersey. And also we're going to find a local shelter in New York City as well. So, because we got a bunch of coats last year, we hope we get a bunch this year. And then we have the Holiday Slamboree. So we got Serial Poets, Shoot the Five, Fire is Murder, My War, and Non-Residents. And My War is going to be a fun sing-along with guest singers.
Yeah. So for those wondering, it's me and drummer Mike from ID, along with Will from Neck Scars, formerly of Crippled Urn, and Aaron Collins from Butterbrain. I mean, it's kind of like a punk rock karaoke thing. We're learning all these songs, and different singers are going to come up and sing with us.
Right.
So,
we got DJ Cindy Half-Rats, and it's just going to be a big party as it usually is.
Yeah. And of course, the coat drive's happening, and it was quite a success last year.
Yes.
So I have faith that this year is going to be just as great.
Yes.
Yeah. So,
awesome.
But on the here and the now, this is what's happening up at Bridge 9. Support those that support you. Go say hi to Larry Kelly and Lori up there this Saturday.
Yes, and also October's coming up, and it's a busy time around Beverly and all that. But I'm going to be in the store on Saturdays and Sundays, except for the weekend. I'm coming down to New York through October. So anybody who wants to come through Bridge 9, say hi. I'll be there Saturdays and Sundays.
Minutes away from Salem, so it's a nice day out.
Salem's right down the street, so
yeah.
Please come by and visit.
Yeah, so my suggestion to you would be definitely go up and visit the middle of October. This way, there's absolutely no place to park, and there's nothing but a friggin' headache, and you want to kill yourself and everyone around you.
Well, you can park in Beverly, right?
You can
And-
park in, or you can park in Beverly. You can park in Beverly and take a fakakta shuttle bus to.
They sometimes on the weekends they have this thing where you can only park until 12 o'clock, and then they say don't bring your car into Salem anymore.
It's not that bad. if you have chutzpah and like guts, like you,
Yeah. Chutzpah.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll be
I'm just
around.
I'm busting balls. I've been in Salem in October. It is incredible. It is a really special time of the year there. It is just.
It already started.
Yeah.
It already started in what? September fucking 22nd?
Yeah,
It started
it,
already?
it already started. This weekend they had the haunted happenings. Next weekend, Chris is going to vend his daughter's stuff every weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, all
Got
through
it.
October.
Cool.
So crazy.
Got
But,
it. All right.
Anyway, Drew, thanks for having us
Yes.
on.
Of
Thank
course.
you.
Of course. I'll see you guys soon. Have a
Yes.
good rest of the day.
Okay,
And,
thank you.
I hope-
Bye.
hope Al's
Bye.
feeling better.
What's that?
Al Barill. I hope Al Barill's feeling better. You know,
There
like,
you go. Fair
getting
enough.
some-
See you soon. There you go. Lori Dawn and Larry Kelly. This is it. This is the last stop on the train. It's the New York Hardcore Chronicles Live. Let's bring our guest back on, representing the Isle of Staten, Andrew Vacante. Hey,
Yo.
man. Let me put you back over on this side. I like putting the guest on that side now for some reason.
Yeah. Put me on the good side.
Yeah, 4 years into it. You know what keeps coming up, and I want to ask you about this.
Oh no.
Yeah, well, I gotta find the picture. Where is it? I got it here somewhere. I'm just gonna find it. Where the fuck is it? I gotta find the picture. Oh fuck. Let me see. Maybe I closed it out. I'll find it.
You'll find it. I know you will.
Yeah. Here you got it. Here it is. It was right in front of me the whole time. A couple people asked, and I think there's something interesting here. People were asking about your love for the polo gear.
Yeah.
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 And somebody asked, is that a polo necklace you're wearing?
It is. It is.
Let me see that. There you go. There you go. It's interesting in the regard that like sort of like the Fury of Five, kind of scene with Champion and the youth crew with, why polo? How did polo come into play?
So, honestly, I think it just like, so when I was doing like my really big deep dive on hip hop and like really, really falling in love with hip hop a lot. I remember I would hear lyrics about, I remember specifically it was an Onyx song. And, like the line was saying that they kill people for polo and Hilfiger, and I was like, damn, were they really killing people for like specifically just for their polo? I was like, that's crazy. And I remember I looked up the lyrics, I looked it up, I was like, and then I remember Googling shit like, oh, like polo in the 90s, and then it brought me to the Low Lives thing, and at the time I was getting into like sneakers a lot, because I'm gonna be real, like I'm not trying to sound corny when I say this, but like I didn't grow up with a lot. I didn't get to like buy shit that I wanted. I would rock the same fucking sweater every day, you know what I mean? And then when I was making money, when I got my job, I was like, oh, I could finally get all this dope shit that I've always wanted. Like I never was able to have a pair of Jordans. Like I want Jordans. So I would start buying just mad sneakers and mad clothes, and my boy Ryan was getting into like a lot of the vintage stuff, and then I would just like, when I read about the Low Life stuff, I fell in love with it, like all of it.
For the uninitiated, like what is low life? What is the low life stuff for those that may not?
So Lowlifes were just like a crew from New York that would just boost polo, and they would.
Was that out of Brooklyn, right?
Yeah, I mean it
Yeah.
was. I mean, yeah, it was Brooklyn, but then it just became all New York City. But like,
Sure.
they would just, yeah, they would just boost polo, rock it in a way like they would just get together, take pictures with it, just rock it in a way that like was unique to them, and they kind of just they were the ones who kind of kept polo relevant for all those years, and
Right.
even Ralph like recognizes that and puts on for
Is
them.
that right?
Crazy, yeah, like
Yeah.
he'll put on for the dudes who used to be boosting the shit, you know, like
Yeah.
he'll put them on the website, like he rides,
Yeah.
you know, he knows what they did for the culture, you know, so
Yeah.
but yeah, when I just started like getting obsessed with it, and I would just spend all my fucking money on polo, all of it.
Astoria Lou asks, have you seen the Fresh Dress doc from our friend Sasha Jenkins?
I have, yeah. I mean anything polo documentary related.
Yeah.
I definitely see.
Yeah, Sasha's a friend and a very talented director. He did the Wu-Tang documentary as well.
He did.
Yeah. And he was, Mass Appeal was his thing. What was that other shot I saw? Is this an American? Is this this is America, right? This shot this is hardcore. Or is this the Ritz? The bowl, maybe? The bowl?
No, that's the Eagle Hall in Jersey, I think.
Okay.
Doing an indecision part there, I think.
I see. I guess the question I was bearing towards is like when you go overseas or anything, and are you repping this hard when you go overseas? You ever get any grief?
It's funny you say that
because over there, let me just finish. Over there, things get sort of skewed,
Yeah, so it's funny because sometimes like my band will be like, "Yo, we're going," like because we played Columbia and I rocked a big USA jacket.
Yeah.
And my band would be like, "Yo, you look like an asshole."
Yeah.
They're like, "Yeah, they look like you're like super patriotic." I'm like, I don't know. It's just I think anyone who knows what polo is would know that's not the case. But
right.
When we played in Japan and Southeast Asia, they made such a big deal about the polo thing that like they would all come to shows rocking, like every person at the shows in like Jakarta, Philippines, all those, but they would come up to me in their polo shit and be like, let's take a picture polo. Like they all were obsessed with the whole polo thing out there.
Well, they connected you with the brand and that's wild.
Yeah.
That's great, man. So that said, let's talk a little bit about this banger and what led up to this. What's the background to Another Life, which is, it's quite a statement. I mean, in this day and age, bands doing full-length LPs, and we just went through it. It's not as frequent as it used to be. What was behind this, and what went into it?
Shit. Well, I've always wanted to do an LP. I think it kind of was in a time where like New York City didn't have bands yet. Like now there's a lot of new bands coming out of New York City, which is dope. But kind of especially when we started writing this and like the pandemic, and before, there were no bands from New York City like coming out. It was still just us kind of like lighting the way, and I was like, I want to make an LP that like stamps the mark of, yo, this is New York hardcore in 2020. You know what I mean? I want like I wanted it to just be our like mission statement, like how there was all these iconic records for certain points in time for New York hardcore. I was like, there needs to be one for this point in time.
Sure.
And I mean, obviously you hear a lot of the influences coming through a lot, but like I was like, this is just our version of that, Yeah. And we spent all the pandemic, me and the guitar player, Peter, we were kind of just in our studio, like our practice space, like every day during the pandemic, just getting together, writing whatever. Like there was so many songs that we scrapped for this record.
Wow.
And then our homie Connor Jones, who put out the record on cash only, like he came in towards the end, was like telling us, helping us out with he's a great songwriter. And he would come in, help us out with riffs and shit. So now the record means a lot to me. I think it's such an important part of the band and like myself in hardcore for sure. Yeah, there's Connor laying on the fucking floor.
So for those that may not know, Connor produced it, and does Ikulu? Ikulu, I always pronounce it wrong. Ikulu.
Yes.
And they put it out on cash only, right? That's his label, right?
Yeah.
And go ahead.
Yeah. So like we were just homies, and I was showing him songs that we had written for the record already at a poker game at my house, and and he was like, because like I said, I always respected the way he writes music. He's really good. He just really is. He's got a natural talent for like honing in on New York hardcore. Like he's just good.
Yeah.
And I remember taking the songs to him, and he was like, "Yo, like, what if you put this part here, did this here instead?"
Sure.
And like, it's just kind of how it went. And I'm really glad that it came out the way it did. He helped us out a lot.
It's kind of like a real producer, that has the ability to sort of make suggestions as far as the arrangement of the song goes. I mean, that's a real producer.
100%. Yeah.
And I quote from an interview. I really wanted this LP to be something like a modern gem for the whole scene of New York hardcore to look to, because no one is really doing the style that Combust has been doing from the demo at this moment.
Yeah.
I ain't saying we're reinventing the wheel, but I just feel that the desire for actual hardcore is getting lost. Basically, to sum it up, we have never felt more stress than the stress of writing an LP.
Yeah. That's pretty much it right there.
You know what it reminds me of in a way? It reminds me of in the New York Hardcore Chronicles film, which you were a part of. I think it was Walter Schreifels, or it might have been Ray Capo, either one of those guys, talking about youth of today. And this is, a generation before, saying like, we wanted hardcore. Everybody was doing crossover. People were doing the things we wanted to. We loved hardcore, and nobody was doing it.
Yep.
So
sure.
It reminds me of that. Like, we love hardcore. Like, kind of straightforward hardcore.
Exactly. And I mean, at that time, it was definitely lost on it for sure.
Yeah.
So I think it's kind of like turning, as it does. I mean, hardcore is very cyclical.
Yep.
But I think it's turning more where people like this sound more now.
Yeah.
They're leaning away from the heavy shit. People just want straight up hardcore now, which is cool.
Yeah. Well, like we said, there's so many different factions, these days. Like I said, when people say, what's up with the New York hardcore scene? I say, which one are you talking about? You're talking about what I'm doing down at the Bowery Electric and art thing. You're talking about, what this one's, there's this or that or this.
Yeah, I mean, every time me and Harry book shows, it's like it could be the 20 same people that I know come to our shows every time, and then it's like 150 kids I've never seen before. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
So,
yeah. That said, so that record came out 2022. You've been out a lot. You've toured the world, and I'm just looking at some of the stuff that you have coming up, and I know they're a little out of order. Oh, this is a good question. Is Combust all members from Staten Island?
So our guitar player Alex was born in Brooklyn and then moved to Staten Island. I believe me, Peter, and Dave were born and raised Staten Island, and then Eric, our bass player, who came into the band later, is originally from Connecticut, but he's been living in New York for like almost 10 years.
Where do you guys rehearse?
Our spot on Staten Island.
Like is it a like a rehearsal space?
Yeah, it's actually right across the street from Method Man's studio.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
So you got some great stuff coming up, including some shows with Bane, right?
Yeah. So we're doing 5 days with Bane, like across the Midwest and Canada.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you got, and you're on the shows with Bane, Stick to Your Guns, and you guys, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then this one caught my eye. Wait a second. Are you doing all of these shows? This is a workout, bro. Are you on all these, bro?
Yeah.
So this is a terror. Who's the middle band?
Nasty.
Nails? Nasty. I was like, Nails?
Yeah,
Nasty?
yeah. Nasty's from Europe.
Okay. Yeah, because
Yeah.
I didn't recognize. And so you're doing what looks, man, these are a lot of shows, bro.
I think it's 30-something days, 31 days, something like that.
So how many times has Combust been over to Europe?
This will be our 5th time.
Wow.
Yeah. So, yeah, but we've done a full US tour that was like 40-something days. This will be the second longest thing that we do.
And everybody's good with that? We're going away from we're gonna
Yeah, so
Yeah.
2 of our members like have remote jobs.
Mm.
So like our bass player, like kind of they're chill with him, just working on his laptop wherever he is, whatever.
That's cool.
And then our
that's a great gig.
Yeah, straight up.
Yeah.
And then our guitar player is just a freelance graphic designer. And then our drummer. So it's funny, our drummer can't do the first 5 days of this tour. We need to fill in, and because his job, if he doesn't clock in for 28 days, he gets booted out of the system.
Oof.
So he's got to come meet us in France.
I think that it's interesting and it's commendable that you got to march on no matter what. If a guy can't do something, you can't shut the whole thing down. And that's something that I struggle with my band is like, it's tough, but a lot of the bands that are out there that are working, and it goes back to kind of Roger Murat from Agnostic Front. If somebody can't do it, you get somebody that can, and you keep the fucking train rolling down the tracks, other than shut the whole thing down and wait around for one guy. I mean, it's you got a huge opportunity. I mean, you got to go for it, right?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I agree, but it sucks when the main members of the band can't do a show or a tour or something. Like, it's definitely not something that I prefer.
Yeah,
because,
of course.
We're a unit at the end of the day. There's a reason why I play in a band with these guys.
Yeah.
But they're chill. The people who can't do stuff in the band are chill with us getting to fill in when we need it. So,
And this is America. Is this America? This one? Yeah.
Yeah, that's like kind of like the additional dates that we're doing to and from the Bane tour.
Oh, I see. So there's like this couple of the Bane. Oh, so the Bane stuff is like sprinkled in between this stuff.
Yeah, so it starts in Canada, and then
I see.
Then it ends at Minnesota, and then those are just separate dates.
Oh, I
just
see.
so people know.
Yeah. Do you have who books your shows? Do you have a booking agent?
No.
You just deal with it? You deal with it all?
Yeah, I mean, for Europe, we have a guy. Because,
Yeah.
like, I can't even begin to think about the logistics of getting all that shit done overseas.
Of course.
But I do everything in America. I handle all that.
Of course you do.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And I guess just from playing the circuit that you have so many times, you're just sort of connected. I mean, you have to make, I guess you got to make the call to each guy in each town to set it up.
Well, I mean, now it's like with the internet, it's like so fucking easy.
Right. It's
you know what I
easier,
mean?
right?
Like, I mean, you could just like I know the people who book in said states now,
right?
Like the back of my hand, and like if I don't know them personally, I know I've spoken to them. So it's like it's definitely a very chill process at this moment.
Yeah. Yeah, and I definitely commend you on. I know what it's like to pull the sled, man. So you're
Yeah,
you're pulling that sled, which is okay when there's glory and there's a payoff at the end, and you're not just smashing your head against the wall.
I know. I've been there.
Yeah.
I've been there.
So somebody asked, what countries in Europe treat Combust the best?
Ooh. I mean, yo, Germany rocks with us hard, bro.
I could see that. I could see that.
I remember the first time we ever played Germany in Cologne. I felt like we were fucking Madball. Like the people knew all the words. It was crazy.
That's awesome.
I mean, shout out Brisket. I mean, we have so many homies over there. Germany, like, really, really fucks with us.
Yeah.
Poland's cool. I mean, there really wasn't. I will say there wasn't any like places when we go to Europe that's like kind of like necessarily whack when we go there. You know what I mean? Trying to think, like Berlin is kind of weird when we play there.
Berlin is an interesting place. I mean, Berlin is like, it's a big city. It's like playing Paris. Like my experience is always sort of like, it's always sort of a little kind of, I don't want to say a letdown, but it's like, it's almost too big, too much expectations,
I can't, every time we play there, I can't tell if they like us or not.
Right.
But yeah,
That's
no,
cool.
I mean, like, I love going to Europe. I'll tour Europe any fucking time.
Now, I know this is a great shot. Tell us about what's going on here.
Oh man, dope memories. That's the end of our Japan tour. So that's like just like all the homies at the show, the band that we toured with, this band EXC, and then the dude who booked the whole thing, Hideta, in the middle next to me. Yeah, that was like a surreal moment, really. Like being in Japan the whole time was like.
Was it just Japan you played?
So we did 4 days in Japan, and then we did so we did 4 shows in Japan, and then we did 4 shows in Southeast Asia.
There you go. And
Yeah.
this is in Southeast Asia?
That's in Japan.
Okay.
That was in
and-
Osaka or something like that.
I mean, listen, if you're gonna go to Southeast Asia, the best way to do it is play a couple shows in Japan first.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
I wouldn't go to Southeast Asia without playing Japan.
Yeah. Yeah.
That place is a dream. Everyone there like treats you incredibly. They love hardcore. Like that is one of the, I mean, and it just, the place itself, like everything you get to see and experience, it's just like, it's just another level, man.
It's an experience of a lifetime. It really is. It's really incredible. And like you said, the people are just so thrilled that you care enough to fucking sacrifice and make it work and get over there, because it's not like a money maker. You're really going over there, you're grinding, but you're really getting out there and playing really just for the experience. The currency is in the experience of it.
100%. I wouldn't even go over there and be like, oh, like we got to make some money off this. I like that is just a glorified vacation to me. Like, it's, like what better way to have a cool vacation than play some sick shows, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. And then like Japan is just like it's just a trip. It's another
It really
world.
is. Like everything about it just I feel like every day I was like this.
Yeah. And like Tokyo, and then did you guys travel on the bullet train and all that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did like everything. We chilled with the monkeys. I got to feed monkeys at this like monkey sanctuary. That's
right.
Cool.
Right.
You know, we saw everything. That picture is from Jakarta though.
Ah, there you go.
Yeah, and funny story about this specific. So when right when we landed in Philippines off the plane, that was the first day in like Southeast Asia.
Uh-huh.
I like on the plane, I was like, oh, I don't feel too good.
Oh,
but
boy.
I was like, whatever, I'll be fine. We get to the hotel, I'm like, nah, I definitely have a fever. And then I just started having like the worst bowel movements of all time. Like bad. So I was stuck in like the hotel every day that we were in Southeast Asia. Like I had to get my own room because whatever I had was fucked. I couldn't eat and like, but everything was coming out of me. It was, yo, I had such a bad fever. So there would be 2 beds in the hotel room that I was in. And I would soak the bed from just sweating. And I would have to move to the other bed. Yo, but I had to play the shows every day.
And this was after Japan when you went to Southeast Asia?
Yeah.
You must have ate some bad seafood or some water, right?
I guess. I don't know what, to this day, I don't know what it was, but it was the sickest I've ever been in my life. I didn't eat for like 8 days. It was fucked. But it was some of the coolest shows I've ever played, and I just powered through it. But
and you just got up there and busted it every night?
Yo, I mean, honestly, especially in Jakarta, where it was like hundreds of people knew all the words. They like you could hear it over the music.
Sure.
It just, yo, I woke up right before we played this set. I was sleeping in the venue, like next to the bands where the bands played. I was sleeping and they woke me up and was like, yo, it's time for us to play. So, yeah.
You know, Jakarta has an incredibly vibrant and hardcore scene. I mean, I hear from them. I hear from those guys all the time.
It's incredible.
You know? Yeah, they hear from them all the time. And you play in New York at the Monarch.
Yeah, November 15th.
There you go. I got to come down to that.
Yeah, that'd be a cool show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the big room, the Monarch, right? Yeah.
Yep.
I just saw the Exploited there the other night.
Oh shit, how was that?
It was aight.
Yeah.
It was aight.
I like the Exploited.
I do too, but you know what? I think I'm
They gotta be old now, right? No.
Yeah, I think I'm just so conditioned, like, to these Bowery Electric shows that it's packed and the vibe is there and there's a total connection and it's just, to me, that's kind of like the gold standard, you know? It's like, you know, people, you know, like I don't even go to arena shows anymore. Like they just fucking suck.
I agree, like, and you know
they suck. I get nothing. I get nothing from it.
I agree, and that's sometimes like I like the Monarch, but sometimes you lose that feeling when the venue is too big. I totally agree.
Yeah, yeah, and I like the Monarch, you know, but there's a couple of challenges there. Like, you know, I haven't played that room, but sound wise and layout wise, it's sort of like it's a tough room, you know.
Like if the show isn't packed, the vibe is weird.
That's right,
for sure.
Yeah, yeah. You know, so Oasis show is a different story. We'll see. That's about the only show I'd like to see. But you know what? Every time I go to an arena show or a football stadium show, I'm like, this sucks. Fucking sucks.
I honestly feel like if you experience hardcore music, it's like you don't want to go to a show that's like not. I feel like a live show doesn't like do it for me if I can't be involved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Chaos, man.
That's
Chaos.
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's what I want.
Yeah. I'm like addicted to that in my music, you know. All these years later, you know, 40 something years later, it's still what I love. It still speaks to me. Just, you know,
that's the way it should be, man. When you're sick and twisted in the head lifer, like you and I. You know?
Yep. That said, let me quick sponsor break, and we'll come back and we'll take some questions from around the world. Okay.
Great.
It's the New York Hardcore Chronicles Live. Our guest today is Andrew Vacante from Combust. If you have questions, please post them. If you asked earlier and they weren't addressed, please repost them. Go deep, get weird. Want to mention our upcoming shows 1 week from today. Speaking of Canada, Joey Chithead from DOA will be on the show. A week after that, fan favorite Danny Lilker, Nuclear Assault, SOD, Brutal Truth, Anthrax will be on the show. A couple days after that, On to talk about his Brooklyn Skinhead book, Lou Morales will be on the show. Boom. Boom, shalak lock, boom. Big banger. Sunday, October 20th. One of my oldest friends in this game, Roger Moret from Agnostic Front, will be on the show to talk about his new book, With Time, The Roger Moret Archives. Sunday, October 27th, photographer Glenn E. Friedman will be on the show to talk about his Bad Brains photographs titled Fearless Vampire Killers. Sunday, November 3rd, Alex Kynan from Cause for Alarm and Agnostic Front will be on. Sunday, November 17th, DC Hardcore Represent from Artificial Peace, Marginal Man, Assault and Battery, Steve Paul Carey. When I stepped on stage at Live Aid, DMC will be on the show Sunday, November 24th, and the landmark 350th episode, Thurston Moore from Sonic Youth, will be on the show Sunday, December 1st. So lots going on. This is the New York Hardcore Chronicles, and we are sponsored by blah, 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 and Mad Vintage. Mad Vintage buys, sells, and collects band shirts, primarily hardcore. The DIY operation was started and is operated by a hardcore kid who just loves collecting and eventually got into vintage clothing, specifically the realm of vintage band shirts. They are always looking to buy out collections to either keep, sell, or trade. New shirts added daily at www.madvintage.com and posted on Instagram. Dig deep into that closet of crap and reach out to them. Help me help you. By the way, while we're talking about Mad Vintage, recently I dug out a couple of things, including that Wu-Tang, an old Wu-Tang shirt I had, a couple of shirts that I have. I don't wear this stuff anymore. I just don't. And I probably like 6 or 7 or 8 shirts. I got more than a couple $100 for him. Sent it down to him. Listen, cash rules everything around me. I don't need material possessions. So that kind of stuff was just sitting in the closet. I was never going to wear the stuff again. Mad Vintage. I highly recommend you reaching out to them. Sell some of those old shirts and make some money. All right? Last but not least, Joe Ramini and the Texas Silver Rush. They're a jewelry design firm and boutique store located in the birthplace of the Texas country music scene in Fredericksburg, Texas. They specialize in working with musicians in all music genres to design and create unique one-off pieces, as well as to style them for stage, album covers, promo photos, and social media exposure. Their client list includes Rock Roll Hall of Famers Greg Rollet, Ringo Starr, and of course, Agnostic Front. Information on online sales are being taken at their Facebook and Instagram pages, and of course, www.thetexassilverrush.com. Want to remind you, please, if you're watching a rerun on YouTube, please subscribe to the Stone Films NYC YouTube channel. If you are visiting this planet and you have a communication device, please pick it up right now. Follow the show and me on Instagram at Stone Films NYC. Also, feel free to reach out to me anytime. Anybody out there, I'm an accessible guy. You can reach out to me about anything. Maybe some advice in your love life. Maybe you want me to hear your band. But doing what I do, a long time ago, I just said, you know what? I'm going to be as accessible as possible. So if anybody has a question or some insight they want to lend or a suggestion on who'd you like to see on the show, reach out to me on Instagram. And don't text me in the middle of the night. Doesn't matter. The phone gets put down. That said, let's bring our guest back on and let's see what we got, Andrew. Let's see. Okay. All right. Well, this is a tough one, but our graffiti historian and creator of this logo. I know this is a tough one to answer, but who's popping for you these days? Top 3 hardcore bands.
I mean, it's probably gonna be Killing Time, Cro-Mags, Dynamo.
Wow. Well, kind of said that.
Yeah.
You know what? Let me. And I know we did 10 questions a couple years ago, but let me throw this one at you. Any new bands worth mentioning?
Yeah. For sure. There's a couple bands. There's so many bands now. Shout out All for All from Syracuse. Good band. Top Dollar from New York City, cool new band. Some New York City bands, Ferment.
I don't know some of these bands.
Yeah, no, they're good. Genome, like just like a bunch of like new wave of New York hardcore right now coming out. It's cool.
Sure.
Yeah, this I would go on forever.
You mentioned Staten Island. Has that been a frequent stop for Combust? I know Staten Island Syracuse. Excuse me.
Yeah.
I know Staten Island. I know Syracuse has a rich hardcore history. Have you guys played up in Syracuse?
Yeah,
quite
a bunch.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. They always put on. Shout out Syracuse hardcore for real.
Yeah. A lot's come out of there.
Yeah.
Good. Hey, good question, Tim Cohen. Any non-hardcore, non-metal music that you enjoy listening to, like jazz? Is there any non-hardcore stuff that you love?
Oh yeah, I mean, I feel like now, like especially like being older, like I don't generally like if I'm in my car, I'm not always like turned up to 100 trying to listen to hardcore. You know what I'm saying? I do like jazz. I like like Rat Pack shit. I like doo-wop shit. I listen to a lot of hip hop. I mean, like Billy Joel is one of my favorites. Like I said, like just a lot of doo-wop and classical shit. I mean, classic rock bands, obviously. Like I've been listening to a lot of Pixies right now. You know,
I can't drive and listen to hardcore and like real.
I mean, I do, but
it's driving in New York City and like on the BQE or some shit. I feel like I'm under attack. Like I have to I can't. You know, it's fucked up.
No, I feel you, but I mean, I listen to hardcore every day, but like not as often as when I was a kid. But.
Robert Hogg in Scotland says, "Hi, the venue you guys are playing in Glasgow is really good. Looking forward to seeing Combust in Glasgow. It'll be a great time."
Never played there. I'm excited. Hell yeah, let's go.
Beautiful city, man. Rob? Yeah, beautiful city, man. And Robert Hogg will represent. He comes out. Okay, you know what, Tim? Smart questions. What's the process of the band in songwriting? Do some write the riffs? Stick to your lyrics? Like, thanks for answering. What's the Combust? How does that shake out when something a new song comes into the rehearsal room?
I mean, a lot of it is me and the guitar player Peter, like just writing riffs, recording them on our phone, being like, I mean, like usually I'll just take a whole song to the band and be like, this is the whole song, and then I'll tell Dave like, this is how the drums should be, and then he adds in like
and you musically you write it all out.
Yeah. Like I don't play guitar great enough to be in a band, but I can write the songs. You know.
Right.
And then I write all the lyrics. Yeah.
Yeah. What's the other one I saw?
Also, Dave is good.
Yeah, I was sort of trying to figure that out. I like flashed it for a second. I'm like, Dave, how's
he got
Dave
hit by a car? He got hit by a car on his bike.
Ooh.
Because what he said apparently is that I was vibing out to the new mix of the record that we're doing, and then he wasn't paying attention and got hit by a car on his bike.
Ooh.
But he's good.
Ooh.
He's good.
All right. Favorite newer rappers?
Ooh, shit.
I like that.
That's a good question. Rome Streets, Mickey Diamond, Esty Knack, Danielson from Toronto. There's so many. Yeah, those are like, when I think about it, definitely the first four. Pro Dillinger is sick. Yeah.
Being that you're a lover of hip hop and a lot of the new stuff, ever any thoughts of like sort of collaborating or like, I know like Jay in Mind Force kind of has his other group that's a little more sort of Pillars of Ivory, that's a little hip hop ish, you know?
Yeah. Well, actually one of my favorites, Rome Streets, did like a just spoken intro, kind of KRS-One, Sick of It All style on a song that we put out on a promo last year.
Okay.
So, I mean, I don't think that I would ever like do like a rapper doing like a hip hop vibe verse over something. I just like think it's kind of like hard to toe that line to make it sound cool. You know what I mean? Unless like you're Cold World. But like, I mean, it's definitely not out of the question entirely for the future. But for now, we got that, which is dope. So
makes sense. I know that this is. Hey, Andrew, what's the craziest thing you've ever seen at a show? Well, that's a tough question.
Damn.
That's a tough one.
That is a tough one.
I mean, because is he talking about like crazy, like
we're talking about like illegal, can't talk about crazy.
Yeah, are you talking about somebody like with a candle up their ass on the dance floor? Or are you talking about violence? You know, like what are you talking about here? You know,
something that sticks out to me for sure is like. We played in Virginia Beach with the Mongoloids. This was like 2000, had to be like 2012 or 13 or something like that. And it was like during, I forgot which band. I might have been during the Mongoloids. It was the craziest riot with like just hardcore kids against like the security.
Really?
Like, yo, it was nuts. It turned into a full on brawl. Like,
where was this?
In Virginia Beach. And like people were getting like sent to the hospital and shit. Like that shit was crazy. Like they were throwing barricades at the security. Like knives were getting. That shit was nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's definitely up there for sure.
Yeah, that's. And speaking of which, you ever play Mexico?
No, we actually haven't played Mexico. I would love to though.
Yeah.
I almost got caught in Mexico. I almost got stuck in Mexico once.
Flying in?
No, well, Vice was playing in Texas, and we had like downtime, and we were like, oh, let's just walk over the border. So we walked over the border into Mexico, and it was like fucking wild. There were people like with AKs on the back of like military trucks and shit, and I was like, what the fuck? Let's get out of here. And then we tried to go back, and then we didn't have our passports, I think.
Yeah.
And like you can get over, but when coming back, they were like, you need your American passport, and it was like a whole thing, and we almost didn't get like back over the border.
This is, and once again, but pretty obvious. Are you a sneakerhead?
Yeah. I like shoes.
Yeah. Is there like a holy grail in your collection? Is there something that like it's so dope? It's so dope. I can't even wear it.
Here's the problem. Here's the problem with Jordans. The thing is, like, you have to wear them.
Right.
Because like if you don't wear them, then they start to crumble, which is mad annoying. You know, like if you don't wear them enough, the shit starts to crumble, especially with the older shoes.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, but like I mean, like I have red ones from like 2006 or something like that. I mean, I rock them. Yeah. But that's like definitely one of my favorites.
Yeah. Did you find the CDs? Is that what you just went flying?
Yeah. So
let's see.
I got a couple of the ones that I like. So this is Set It Off.
Mm-hmm.
And this one's the Gorilla Biscuit Start Today and the 7-inch. We got H2O Thicker Than Water. I'm an H2O head. Fuck the haters. Bad Religion, No Control. That's a tight one. Yo, Boston's Let's Face It. Tight.
These are all discs that Chris made for you?
Yeah, these are all shit that he burned for me. 7 Seconds, The Crew.
That's
Don't
awesome.
Forget the Struggle.
That's awesome.
This one was this is The Age of Quarrel, but it just says Chromags on it.
Right.
Avail, Demonstrate My Style, Scratch the Surface, Sick of It All, Rancid, Let's Go. I mean, these are just like the ones that I really, really, stuck with.
Yep.
Like, but he gave me like rockabilly shit too. I'm seeing in here, like
he gave you a wide palette of things.
100%.
Yeah. Yep. Let me see what else we got here. Yeah, craziest thing. Things are crazy. Any shows at Gold Sounds? No, there's no shows coming up at Gold Sounds anytime soon. Not that I know.
No, but there is a show that me and Harry are doing at the Wood Shop.
You're promoted? You have promoted shows at Gold Sounds?
Oh yeah, I mean almost all the not all of them, but like a large portion of the shows, like hardcore shows that you see at Gold Sounds, is me and Harry.
Right.
But
I didn't realize that you were promoting those.
Yeah, I do shows under core clientele.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay. And the shows that you did at Gold Sounds, are those like nighttime shows? Are they 21 and over? How does that work?
They're not 21. Well, here's the thing about Gold Sounds and why I like doing shows there so much. It's like they're so chill with everything. They just let me and Harry do the door. Homie Glenn from Billy Club Sandwich does the sound.
Sure. Sure.
But like there's no bullshit. There's no security guards patting anyone down. There's no people trying to run the show for us. They just it's very just for the kids oriented, you know what I mean? Like
and are they matinees or are they nighttime shows?
No, they're nighttime shows.
Yeah. Hey, look who just turned up.
What's up?
Hey, you got a lot of love on the show, Chris.
You did.
Yeah.
You have fans, I guess.
Yeah, he does. I see he's up in my neighborhood. I on the way to the post office, I see his stickers around.
He's everywhere.
He's everywhere.
He's always defacing public property. What a scumbag.
They're gonna get you, Chris. you and MQ, man. Whew. Unbelievable. What does that mean? The Regulate show is Regulate playing Gold Sounds?
No, that's at the Wood Shop, October 24th. So that's Raw Brigade, Regulate, Day by Day, and two bands from Australia.
That's a funk. Are you putting that show on? Yeah,
me and Harry are doing that. Yeah,
that's a funky room. It's sort of the in-between room between both those places, you know.
Yeah, we've never done a show there, so
yeah. I was just there recently, you know. But yeah, I guess now that Kingsland closed, Chip is kind of created another venue in that,
which is cool.
Yeah, no, whenever venues close now, it's closed. I go, you know what? One door closes and another one opens, and if people, it's like the drug trade. It's supply and demand. If people want, if people want shows, it gets figured out.
100%.
Yeah. Do you collect records?
I used to, and then I was like, I don't even have a fucking good record player, and this shit is just burning a hole in my pocket for shit that I can't even listen to. I mean, I have a shit ton of records.
Yeah.
But not anymore as much.
Yep. Yeah, I got it. That said, what else? Anything? Let me just get one of the. Oh, hey, yo, dry snitching. Is that right? Ox is Ox. Is it OX or Ox? Sebastian's
the
other
Ox.
band.
So the Ox Seb sings for it, but the rest of them are Australian people.
Are they on that bill?
Yeah.
I want to come. What's the date on that?
October 24th.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm down. What else do we got? What else we got? Anything else? Anybody you want to? Let me think. Anything you want to call to our attention? I'm going to dig up one of those flyers. Is the next show you're playing the Monarch show? Is that the next thing you're doing? No. This October.
So,
the October shit is going on.
Yeah. So the next, well, we play Boston. We're playing Boston September 28th.
Right.
And then after that is the Bane run, and then
this stuff.
Yes.
Yeah. This run.
Yeah.
Does somebody in your band like own a van or a vehicle? How do you guys, whip around to all this stuff?
So I have my car, and then Eric has a car, Pete has a car. So three of us have a car.
So when you do these things, three of you drive? Like there's three vehicles?
Well, if it's a tour, no, we're gonna rent a van.
Yeah. Oh,
we rent a van. But if it's
Yeah.
like a show, just a one show, we'll just drive separately.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Of course. But for something like this, when you're doing 15, Brattleboro, Montreal, you actually you gotta incur the cost. You rent a vehicle to do this, rent a van.
Yeah.
Like a nice cargo van, like that's not gonna break down.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, there's like
Yeah.
there's like so many rental sites now. Figure it out
Yeah.
where it's
Right.
manageable.
Yeah. Larry Kelly says, "Come to Bridge 9 the day of your Boston show." Yeah.
Okay, I'm down. Hell yeah.
Will the new LP be out before the Monarch show? Is there a new Combust LP?
There is. But it definitely won't be out before the Monarch show. It'll probably be out like early next year.
Yeah,
'Cause we're still waiting on like a million different things.
As fast as you think you're going to get something out in this day and age, add another 3 or 4 or 5 months onto it.
Yeah.
It's like
Straight up.
we learned that, man.
It's just once it's all recorded, you have to wait for so many other things on top.
Everything, the artwork, the printing, the mastering, the
Exactly.
shipping. It's just,
I will say real quick though, the dude, I don't know his name, Manel.
Yeah. This.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely want to speak on that. Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
There are shows coming up for Sean McCann. Good dude. Played in a bunch of bands. He's in Hijaza, suffering from ALS. If you can get to any of those shows, definitely do that. I think there's gonna be more benefit shows that are gonna happen for him. So I'm sure but just try to find them on Instagram, try to stay in touch with that for sure.
Yeah, they just did a benefit out at Pugs in Staten Island the other night, I think. Yeah, my fiance Rochelle was there. Yeah. So that was that. All right. Well, that said, great show. I told you it was going to be fun.
I had a great time, man.
Yeah, it's great. And I learned a couple of things, and I'm looking forward to seeing you guys play again. I want to come out to that wood shop, the wood shop show. Anybody,
just say the word.
Yeah. Anybody you want to thank? Anybody you want to shout out?
Shout out to you for real. Appreciate you having me.
My pleasure.
Shout out my cousin Chris. Good seeing you in there. That's it.
All right. Let's keep in touch and one of these days let's get you down to play the Bowery, man. That's a whole nother.
We're definitely gonna, as soon as the record's out, I want to definitely do more shit. So
we'll sort it out. All right, man. Thank you. It was a great show.
Yeah, thank you again, man.
All right, talk to you soon. Take care.
Peace.
Right. Well, there you go. New York Hardcore Chronicles Live. Andrew Vacante. Now, where is my brother in all this? Where are you, bro? Waiting on you. That's what you get. That's what you get for. Oh, whoa. All right, he's coming in. He's coming in hot. Lost him. What's up with you?
Me, just watching the show. I'm a Combust fan. They're great. I have a friend of mine. He's like a big snob, right? Big hardcore snob.
A younger guy.
Yeah, of course. Like I get a lot of info from him.
Right.
But he loves Combust, loves them. And Downfall too. When he played in bass, I believe in Downfall. So he's a good guy. I'm glad you had him on the show. He was articulate and
No, it's great. And like I said, Andrew's an interesting character. He's a guy that really kind of, how do you put it? He really studied the history of it. He really came in as a fan, a lot like Toby Morris, who was just a super fan who created a band. He just wanted to be a part of it. Andrew just worked real hard and really, did his hard work.
Absolutely.
So that said, all right, let me bring my brother on. I'll talk to you in a bit.
Yeah.
All right. See you in a bit. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, as per our agreement, I'm going to bring my brother Evan B. Stone on the show. He is doing an event in LA, in Hollywood, I believe, talking about his 10 most dangerous moments. For those that know my brother, of course, he's a cinematographer. He's traveled the world many times, worked at Expedition Unknown, Destination Truth, Finding Bigfoot, Naked and Afraid. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages. Evan B. Stone, what's up? You need to unmute yourself there.
How you doing? All right, guys. Thanks for having me on. This is awesome. Yeah, we're live and direct. Huntington Beach, California here.
Home of Jack Grisham from TSOL.
Oh yeah,
you know?
I see him sometimes. I'm like, I know Drew.
Jack's
I
around.
see him and I'm like, I know my brother knows that guy.
Oh,
just the way he looks.
No, you
Yeah.
told me that great story of when they came on the plane, and you texted me. You're like, I know you know these guys, and I'm like, he's like, and you were like, their leader just came on. He's a really loud guy, and he's got like a tattoo under his. I said, yo, it's Jack Grisham. Tell him I say what's up.
Yeah. I could tell they've been on the road forever. They had that look, like,
oh yeah,
not over it, but like, you know, salty, you know.
And they're all like FORs, you know. They're all like recovering dudes. Anyway, that said, tell us about this event that you have going on. What is this all about?
Well, look at that. I'm coming out. Well, this is cool. This the Explorers Club, which is you got to be to get in. It's like you have to have climbed certain mountains and done certain things, which I have with Expedition Unknown. So I'm a member there. I just became a member, and I'm doing a talk. They every Thursday they have someone of interest talking, and I'll be talking about 10 most dangerous moments. Something that I co-host a show with Josh on Expedition Unknown sometimes on Discovery Channel. It's that same name. So I thought, oh, this is gonna be easy. But I did have some new ones since then. And these are all times I've almost died. I mean, like, it could have been not like I was bleeding out or something, but there was that decision or that thing that went right or wrong that went our way or not, or you know.
So you kept it. Did you? So are you keeping it all like cinematographer Expedition Unknown?
No. Well,
because you know what? Because you know what? You could have slipped in there that would have mixed it up a little bit. Biohazard Shades of Grey or something like that was, or that you're right, or like that was that was wild.
Yeah,
you know.
But no, this is gnarly stuff. Like one of the
excuse me, I see like Chernobyl. I see this is like Chernobyl and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, so this is Ghosts of Chernobyl. We went there in 2009. Ghost hunting. We're the only ghost hunting crew that went there all night. We're in Pripyat. In the city, and we were bugging out. We had level 4 radiation suits, didn't take them off once. One time I was, we heard some rustling in one of the rooms, and then we looked over and it was a pack of wolves and they were kind of cornered. So I was like, that was scary. And then a lot of shadow creatures and stuff like that were there. And it's the fact that my dosimeter was on my camera, and it would be like, not there.
Yeah, right. Let's not go there.
It was really spooky, you know, all the people that died there. It was really something else. And then I'll just tour you through a couple. One's in, we're doing this piece on D-Day in Omaha Beach. We're diving Omaha Beach, and it was like 110 feet. It was really gnarly, dark, kind of like War is Hell, like those comics remember, like, it was like twisted tanks and U-boats and stuff. And we found a live mine, like a mine that was still live. We came upon it, and whoa, and I could have, we're like poking around. You're like, dude's like, no, not that. So we had to call the Coast Guard, and it was a whole situation.
I remember. I don't know if you include this, but I asked you, like, what was the scariest dive that you did? And I know when you were on Expedition Unknown, Josh Gates, who hosts the show, he grew up. His dad owned a dive shop. He grew up diving. You're a diver, and that's why I tell people. That's why they always look for an excuse to go to dive on that show. But I remember you told me like one of the scariest dives was I think like off Nantucket or something. You guys went and he said it was really, really dark and there was a current and like something like came and like brushed against you and you were just like freaked out.
Yeah, no, it was up in Martha's Vineyard. Yeah, but that's
Martha's
not one
Vineyard,
of like
where there's white sharks, right?
Yeah, yeah, and we're doing a piece on Vinland, the Leif Erikson and his, the Vikings who were there, supposedly. But that's not one of my 10. Isn't that crazy? One of them was, I talked on your show once about it. We did a piece on Cambodia about this linga, which is like this a phallic symbol of a woman's, but it was really old. So we go up and we hung out with the Khmer Rouge guys who are now like the mayor,
Right,
and
right. The guys the guys that like methodically killed tens of thousands of people are now like the mayor. Right?
Well, yeah, they all hold up in this holy mountain, and it started lightning, and it was just Josh and I, and they invited us into their house, and we got drunk with them, and then I was like, oh yeah, these guys are the right age. I bet you they're the killers. I was like, oh my god. Sure. But we had a blast, and I clouded myself. I fell on some water bottles were tied in a bag, and I stepped, wham! And I was like, don't kill me. They were laughing. I was like, yay. It was really funny. And then another one is we did a piece on cloning the woolly mammoth. We went up to Siberia.
I remember that, yeah.
Yeah, and we went undercover to this illegal placer mining, which is like where they shoot water into the permafrost.
Just destroying the environment, right?
Oh, yeah, I don't care. But there's like tusks and like woolly rhino. I mean, stuff that's coming out. It must have been really
incredible.
Really a lot of life up there. But we went undercover, and then we had to stay undercover. We got kind of caught once, and we hung out with. It was sketchy, like real sketchy.
Sure.
One of the funny things though, they wanted us to bring alcohol there to them. We said sure, so we bought some vodka, and they were like, "What the fuck is this?" They said we want Jack Daniels. I was like, ooh. Yes, you do. Of course you do.
Yeah, we don't want vodka. You Americans better bring like JD,
Jack Daniels, so
or Hennessy or something, right?
Jack Daniels, that's what they want. Yeah, right.
Jack Daniels. That's
so that was cool. Another one was Dyatlov Pass up in Siberia. We went there. The 9 missing hikers. It's like their JFK kind of.
That is a horrifying. For those that don't know about this, that there was like a couple of hikers, and there was like 4 of them. Was it 4?
9, I think. Yeah,
9. 9, and there was like, were there women too?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
And they like ran out of their tent like half dressed, and like it was a mystery. They were basically like chased down and killed.
Kinda, you don't know, right? They went out from it was really cold. They went from the inside out. They ripped it. They all half closed. They didn't go back to their tents. They were found with their tongue taken out in their eyes, but by a creek, and they were in the woods, like looking back at their tent. It was a whole mystery. So we went there at the same time of year. Went there minus 30. We took snowmobiles up. We got some Russians taking us up there. We had to be cold enough to get on these rivers. So that was really dangerous. I had a snowmobile roll on me, and trying to stay alive without getting freezing to death. It was real gnarly. You couldn't put any skin out. So another one was Tayo's Cave. We'll just run through them because this is good for me to run it through.
Yeah,
Tayo's Cave.
It's a dry run for Evan's show. If you're around in the LA area this Thursday, September 26th, there's a dinner. It's a couple of bucks, but looks like a really great event, man.
It's only $35, includes dinner, and then a nice thing. And the place is awesome. It's like artifacts of adventures, like people who've climbed Everest and stuff. If you know the Explorers Club in New York, this is like the drunk uncle of that, really.
Yeah, got it.
It's not a nice like that. It's kind of like ghetto. Like I was like, "What's this artifact about?" They're like, "We don't know, but it looks old." I was like, "I got it. Like, have a drink." But it's so fun there, and to be honored to talk there, really. And it's my birthday. It's gonna be awesome. So anyone's listening, come out, check it out. So Tayo's Cave, that second largest cave in the world. We went to do this story on the metal library. It's like in the early 1900s, there's these artifacts coming out of a certain part of Peru, and there were like straight up aliens on it. And it was a story about this monk who was there, who found this library, metal rooms with all these artifacts. He came back with them. And so they couldn't find it afterwards. But then they thought it was this cave, which happens to be the second largest cave in the world. To get down there, you got to winch down 400 feet. You can't rappel, and the rope's not big enough. And then you live down there for 3-4 days, which we did. And we explored the longest tunnels. We went further than anyone. And then one part of it, no, that's not the most dangerous part. There was one part where just Josh and I, we had to go underwater about 10 feet to the end of this thing. And they're like, just don't go to the left or right. I was like, what? No. I was like, I'm not going, but being first, I have to, film. But I had another guy go first, a local. I said, you go, you come back. And then when you go again, I'm going to be like, because you can die in a cave real easy. Just make a little turn, you get confused. It wasn't diving, it was just holding your breath. But when we got out of that area, it was incredible. It was like there was this one huge mushroom stalactites, crystal, just powdered in crystal. It's like, I've never seen it before. I don't think anyone has. And so, sometimes it takes that to get to see something like that.
It must be, it's so amazing for people to be these cave explorers, like to imagine like no one's just keep going and going. There's water here, let's go through it. There's like these people. I mean, I'm sure there's like that contingent of people that like love that danger, live for that danger. It's like they live for that. I want to discover. I want to go where no one's ever been.
They die, they die in those caves. This is before the Thailand kids got caught in that cave. This is the same kind of thing. If it would have rained, we would have been flooded out. So that was, and I had a panic attack down there, and I never had one before. So I was like, usually you have a panic attack, you're like, this is not real. I can get out of this.
I'm okay.
Like, no, it's not.
There's no getting.
and then Josh and I got rotavirus.
What's that?
Which is it's something you get from human feces. I don't know how we got it, but the cave was just gross. Oh, I mean, it was these huge football field chambers. Boom, boom.
You breathe it in. You breathe something in, and
everyone was doo-dooing everywhere. It was nuts. And also like the ground wasn't real dirt. It was like moving like cockroaches and snakes. It was really gnarly. And so and we had to get winched up, and then the winch broke. We had to Jumar up, which is like, like one of those. Yeah. Took forever. And then we got rotavirus, and the helicopter was supposed to bring us home. And Discovery Channel said, no, it's not insured. It's a government helicopter. I was like, what? So we had to walk out, and we had rotavirus, and it was the hardest. And there's a picture, I don't have it here, but there's a picture of us sprawled out on these rocks at the end of the hike. It was definitely the hardest thing we've ever done. Then we checked into a hospital.
Hey, is the adventure you had when you helicoptered into, was it Bali, where the guys came out of the villagers came out with the
Papua New Guinea.
New Guinea.
Yeah. Anyone goes to Papua New Guinea has a story. I know. I tell you, everyone who goes there into the bush, they have a story about something. I mean, because it's like they're like definitely not like modern.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a million people live in a jungle without no electricity. So you walk in the jungle, you see eyes. You're like, oh, like they're just chilling. It's like a street corner is like, yo, I'll meet you on the.
Yeah, I'll meet you by the tree.
The palm, and
Yeah.
But
wow.
Yeah, so Papua New Guinea was 2 times there. One time we went and we took this helicopter, and they said, oh, that's where you're supposed to go. And I was like, I just read in the paper that morning in Papua New Guinea in the town, like a witchcraft, and the people someone went into a village when they shouldn't have, and they got their Achilles like a cut, like a tourist. And I was like, hey, Josh, look, witchcraft, they believe it, laughing. Haha. So now we go in helicopter in, and then it's like the guy's like, this is the coordinates, but I don't see anything down here. And I'm looking down right away. I'm like, well, what do you mean? Like, this is not the place. Let's go back. And so Josh is like, just put it down over here. So my deal is I get out first, and then it does a lap up and then flies back again. This is so I can get a shot of it, And so I jump. It was just me and Josh. I jump out. Helicopter comes around, comes down, and as it's coming down, I look in the woods, and there's like a tribe of menacing locals, like running 5 feet forward and 4 feet back, like I was like, no way. It was raining too, and I was like, wait, what's that? And I was like, Iraq Focus, and it's all on TV. Like it ended up on TV.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my god! And I was like, and then the helicopter landed, and then I ran to Josh. I was like, yo, the natives are restless, dude. What the? He's like, what are you talking about? We get out, and the helicopter just goes, whew, and we're like, oh no! And so there we are. They came up, and it turns out his dude's name was Bill, and Bill was in Papua New Guinea. They give their best warriors to important people, and they menace them. You know, it's like gangland. Like, yo, what's up, homie? We're the bird folks. Like, we're the mud people. You know,
we're the
don't cross the river. You know, and it's true. It's
Yeah.
real territorial.
Yeah,
But that's not the time I thought I almost died there. There was another time I went there. You know, if you notice, I was on another show. I was looking for the Tasmanian devil. It's like a thing. It's a cryptid, which means
no. The Tasmanian devil is an extinct animal. If you look
but
it up,
it's still,
the last one died in the 1930s. It was in captivity. They hunted them to extinction in Australia because they were killing livestock. The last one that ever lived, there's footage of it. If you look on YouTube, there is footage. It's like this poor.
It's like
sick,
like a thing
in a cage, but it existed. It was the last thing.
Yeah.
The Tasmanian devil, and I guess they say there's a couple of them still alive, and that's where you guys went, right?
Yeah, these in Papua New Guinea and some of those islands, just knew. They're still finding stuff, little bugs that no one's ever known of.
Yeah, right.
Because it's just remote and no one goes there. So we went up there and we were supposed to take this helicopter to the top of the mountain, and it was a couple of laps because we're ferrying gear, and I was one of the laps, and it was a cloud bank that hit, and I was like, you don't do that. Everyone knows it. Hey, So we circled
Stevie
around.
Ray Vaughan, Bill Graham, yeah.
But this is already new. I already been to Papua New Guinea. I said, you can't just land anywhere. Around, like, I know that because they're gonna come kill you. So he says, no, so I'm gonna have to put you down here just for a minute. He puts it down, then the fog comes in, and I'm stuck there alone with
this story.
Another Papuan guy who's like but he's not in this tribe anywhere near. He's like he doesn't belong there.
Right.
So we get these kids come up, and these kids are scouting, and I was like, hey, you want some peanut butter jelly and all this stuff? I didn't know anything. But what they're doing is sussing us out because the Indonesian government that owns half that island, they come and they murder a whole villages to get. There's a lot of gold there, really a lot of gold, and they'll do whatever it takes. And so they thought we're Indonesian miners or prospectors or something.
Right.
And I woke up and I was in a tent waiting, and I woke up and it was like an argument, like blah, blah, blah. And my dude opens it up real quick, goes, "We gotta go." I was like, "We'll go where? Where are we going?" He's like, "Just get ready." And I was like, "I don't know where to go." I was scared because these guys had like guns, and they were like,
wow,
it was like
you're in a lawless place on the other side of the world, in a lawless place.
I mean, in a hillside.
In a hillside in a
so we have this. You know what an EPIRB pin is?
No. Oh yeah, it's like an emergency sort of panic button.
Yeah, they have it on Britling watches, but they also, a lot of seafarers have them. You pull it, it's 250,000. Think. So I was like, bink. I was like, we're out of here. Sure enough, 2 hours later, a helicopter came from New Zealand, came in like heroes. And it came in, one skid off and on. One skid came on. I was like, just jumped on. I was like, ha. And I have footage of this. I got it queued up for my show. Where me and the Papuan guy are like laughing. We're like, we're free. Right? Because you go over this like big old hill, and it's like, boom, and then it's all open. It just drops out. And it's like, you just, Wow. So that was really scary. I'm not scared of like things. I'm scared of people. If it's a judgment of can I make that jump, or if I can climb that, that's different than
Than being in So once again, anybody in the LA area, this Thursday, September 26th, my brother Evan B. Stone is going to be at the what is the place? The place is called
Adventurers Club.
The Adventurers Club, right?
It's a club that only think 1,300 members. You have to have climbed Everest or done some exploring of note. It's like old school. There's like there's a shrunken head there. There's a woolly mammoth tusk. If this place is, you should Google it. It's nuts. I went there and I was like, well, this is my home. I love it here. Every Thursday there's a talk with someone interesting that's like had a whole life of adventure. Maybe they work for the army, or they were their jobs were really interesting. They weren't just traveling for the sake of it. It's always like, you know, we had to stay there for. It was like the stories are incredible.
Yeah.
I'm just all flash. You know, I'm gonna be flashy about it.
No, it's great, and it's kind of like what Josh does with his tour when he, you know, and this is. I'm really happy you're doing it because, you know, just start doing them, and then you know, you could tour with this, and people want to hear people. You know, you've been on Expedition Unknown a bunch of times. People know you, people recognize you, and you have an incredible history of traveling the world, shooting this stuff, and kind of and getting into it. You know? Yeah,
I mean, I've done every single mystery that is everything from you know, Lost City of Gold to what's his name? The guy who jumped out of the plane with the money. You know, that guy.
DB Cooper.
DB Cooper. We've done, you know, Nazi Gold at the train and Nazi Gold here every time. Nazi Gold everywhere.
That's always a big one. Nazi Gold. That's always
ratings go up.
Yeah, Nazi Gold's a big one. Yeah.
All right. I mean, there's more to it, but you know, I don't want to keep you on your show.
No, we're good, and I think everyone's got the heads up, and it's happening this Thursday, and there you go.
Come on by. Right. Say you would, you know, how you know me, you Drew, and then I'll
come by. Mention the show.
Yeah.
All right.
So thanks for giving me a shout out, a little time on your show. I'm going to use this in for social media and get it all ready.
There you go. Chop it up.
All right. Hey, catch you later. Bye, guys.
Take care. All right. Bye-bye. There you go. That's my brother, Evan B. Stone. Yeah. There's certainly an audience for this sort of stuff here in the UK. Yeah. Yeah, right? It was kind of an awesome edition. A little something we totally sort of took a different tact. Thanks for hanging in there, everybody. I hope you guys enjoyed it. It was a great show. 1 week from today, Joey Shithead from DOA is on the show. So we're looking forward to that. Thanks a lot, everybody, for another great show. Until next time, do good things, and good things will come.
Conditioned by indoctrination, conditioned by society. You're a victim of the digital age, a 21st century casualty.